Hello again and welcome everyone to the special edition of Campus Beat right here on CFRC 101.9 FM and streaming at cfrc.ca and on your favorite mobile apps like iHeartRadio. I'm Dinah Jansen and with me is Abyaz Karim, a master's student in international business who has recently joined our news team as the campus news reporter alongside our dedicated AMS student volunteer Jaya Kumar. Coming up, we're pleased to present conversations we held with each of the candidates running for SGPS Executive Offices, in addition to statements our team has read on behalf of those who could not join us in time for broadcast. In this episode, you'll hear from or about 14 SGPS executive candidates, including SGPS Trustee candidates Matiss and Mertin, Presidential candidate Dawood Tullah, Vice President Community candidates Ava Fiorino, Claire Dobbie, and Tanya Joseph, and also the Vice President Finance candidate Oishik Battacharya. After that, you'll hear from or about the Vice President graduate candidates Fathi, Ikeolupawo Baruwa, and Surabhi Velagala, followed by the Vice President professional candidates Amir, Shetaia, Destine Lee, Megan Roth, and Rit Nanda. Thank you for joining us here on CFRC 101.9 FM's Campus Beat. We hope you enjoyed the episode. We'll dive in now with our conversations with each of the SGPS trustee candidates. Folks, thank you for joining us here on CFRC. I am in the space now with Matiss, who is running for SGPS trustee this year. Thank you for joining us, Emil.
Hello, everyone. My name is Matiss. I'm a PhD student at the Center for Neuroscience Studies, and I'm running for the position of graduate student trustee.
Awesome. So tell us a little bit more about yourself and the position you're running for.
Well, over the past 5 years, I've been deeply involved in student governance at Queen's. I've led faculty committees, been elected as graduate student senator twice, chaired a Senate committee, been involved with countless others, and served as chair of the Student Senate Caucus for 2 years. Currently, I have the honor of serving as the president of the SGPS. During this time, I've worked tirelessly to advocate for student needs, using these positions to push for increased funding and greater transparency at Queen's. Serving as president of the SGPS has been both an incredible privilege and an intense experience. This past fall, we faced 60-hour work weeks advocating against the proposed QJ cuts. While I had seriously considered stepping back from governance this year with a much-needed retirement, my concerns about the current state of affairs and my commitment to preserving the QGA for the long term have motivated me to continue. The trustee position offers the best platform for me to effectively advocate for the QGA and in turn for you.
So we've learned a little bit about the position and why you're running for it. What are some of the key pillars of your platform?
Well, this is my fourth election, and while we often talk about platform pillars, I've moved beyond that. I have a clear agenda. The Board of Trustees is responsible for the financial health of the university and for monitoring institutional risk. I've communicated to the board by highlighting student issues as risks. My agenda focuses on ensuring that the risks of cutting funding like the QGA, failing to raise stipends to both livable and competitive levels, and not maintaining adequate transparency are fully recognized and deemed unacceptable. My goal is to ensure that the board is thoroughly informed about the implications of the proposals they receive from the administration, so that they can make decisions that uphold the university's values and long-term success.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. And now, Emil, finally, how can people learn more about you and also vote in the upcoming SGPS referendum and elections?
Well, to follow my campaign, check out Emil for Trustee, EMILS for Trustee on Instagram, and visit matiss.ca, MATISS.ca. Please visit sgps.ca/elections or read the newsletter to stay up to date about the elections process. You'll find all information you need on how to vote there. Thanks so much for getting involved.
And thank you very much, Emil, for taking so much time out of your campaign to join us and share so much with us, and best wishes on your campaign.
Thank you so much for your time.
And welcome back, everyone. I'm Dinah Jansen. With me in the studio space now is Mertin, running for SGPS trustee. Welcome to CFRC, Nick.
Hi, Dinah.
So tell us about yourself and the position you're running for.
Right. So I am currently a Master's of Applied Science student, just defended my thesis, and I'll be starting my PhD in May in the Department of Electrical and Computer Engineering. And so I'm running for the graduate and professional trustee. So it's a member of the Board of Trustees of Queen's University, which it's one of 3 students on the board, and the board is 25 people total, and is responsible for the overall finances and related governance issues of the university, including some of the policies the university runs on and approving the budget, all that sort of thing. So it's a very it's sort of very high level, but kind of a significant group on campus.
Amazing. Thank you for sharing. And now, why are you running for trusteeship?
Right. So I decided to run because I was a little bit concerned about how some of the decisions were being made, including around how some budget cuts and related issues were being implemented and how decisions were being made there. I mean, obviously, it's a big conversation point right now. It even made it sort of into the national news sphere about the Queen's budget situation, and there's lots of questions I've been asked by people who are looking to come to Queen's, even like, hey, what's going on? Is the university going to go bankrupt tomorrow? Like that's sort of the scope of conversation that's going on. I think there's been a lot of conversation there. I think, I mean, obviously the university is having to make some decisions around its budget, around what things to fund, what to do, infinite demand and finite amount of money there. But my goal is to make sure that that's done in a way that is fair to students and in a way that we maintain and we defend the university's core purpose is to teach and to do research, and that needs to be top priority overall. And so I think I can offer something to be part of shaping those decisions.
Thank you very much. And now tell us, Nick, what are some of the key pillars of your campaign?
So again, the key point that I want to make is that the university's teaching and research mission is paramount, and so the entire point of in my position of being a student on the board of trustees is to defend from a student lens and from a student perspective that mission. And so I think I can offer something on that front. I've held a number of positions at more faculty society and departmental levels. I've been a representative to my department. I've been an advisor to my undergraduate faculty society as a member of their engineering review board. And I've helped shape some sort of governance and finance related and policy related things there, and with extracurricular groups I've been involved in. And so a lot of that, whether dealing with the university or dealing with student groups, the role that I've had has been to sort of try to get a bunch of people who have different priorities and different goals, different perspectives, and working within different maybe budgetary constraints, and to try to build a consensus and find a solution that works with everyone, that meets everyone's requirements. And even if I'm dealing with people that I don't have authority over, I can't tell them what decision to make, but I can sit there and earn their respect and make the case for a solution that works for them and also works for the students that I'm working to represent or working to defend the interests of. And so I'm offering to essentially bring a strong student voice on that front to the Board of Trustees.
Okay. And now finally, Nick, how can people learn more about you, your campaign, and how to vote?
Right. So the SGPS is hosting an all candidates debate on Wednesday. So I encourage, if you're an SGPS member, to attend. I also will have some social media. By the time this airs, that will be live, and there'll be lots of information there on my position, my campaign, my experience, and so forth. And so I encourage everyone to check that out on LinkedIn and Instagram.
Thank you very much for joining us, folks. We have been chatting with Nick Mertin, who is running for SGPS trustee. Thank you for joining us right here on CFRC. Best wishes on your campaign.
Thank you for having me.
And thank you to the trustee candidates who joined us. We now move over to our conversation with the presidential candidate for the SGPS, Dawood Tullah. And welcome back, folks. This is Dinah Jansen, and I am in the studio space now with Dawood Tullah, who is running for SGPS president. Welcome to CFRC, and thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
So tell us about yourself and the presidency of the SGPS and the position itself.
Yeah. So my name is Dawood. I'm running for president at the SGPS. I'm a second-year law student at Queen's currently. I've also been involved with the Queen's Business Law Clinic in different capacities since May. And part of the job there is to assist, provide pro bono services to small businesses, not-for-profits, and startups in the Kingston community or Queens community as well. Prior to that, I've had experiences working in a managerial role in the service industry, but also in industrial operations in some capacity. And prior to that, I was, during my undergrad, also involved as a fellow at different think tanks across North America, primarily in the US. And part of that was about understanding and discussing and studying policy and the economics, so to speak.
All right. Thank you so much. And why are you running for office of the president with the SGPS?
That's a great question, actually. I started my undergrad at Queen's 10 years ago, and this was in 2014. And it was a very different place at that time compared to what I see now. And so part of it stems from this sort of holding on to the past where, relatively speaking, there was a lot better engagement among students. There was a community. There was a united kind of sense of belonging that students had at Queen's. And I think that that's gone a bit missing over the years. And I think it's in my my vision is to kind of unite that, student body again, and also to kind of have a voice that speaks up against the administration making decisions without any student input, and oftentimes decisions that disregard student welfare. So if we can, together somehow build a resilient community that allows us to kind of make our needs and voices heard, that would be a great achievement for everyone, I think.
And now, Dawood, could you tell us some of the key pillars of your platform?
I guess starting small, one of the things that I want to look into is making sure that the SGPS corporate records are in place. What that does is it allows the graduate and professional student membership to understand what their rights are as part of this community, the SGPS community. And as a result, what I believe is that'll increase student engagement. And if that does happen, it kind of, builds a sort of collegiality, which is stronger in the sense that anytime in future that we have to kind of fight for something that is right, that rightfully belongs to us as a student community, it would be easier if the membership is all united and together and they understand what their rights are, but also at the same time understand what the relationship is between students and the university administration. So that's one. And that also then extends to kind of, holding the administration accountable in decisions that they make without input or without proper or appropriate input from students. We're stakeholders as, that are affected by their decisions as well. And not just us, I'm sure, members of the Kingston community at large or other members within the Queen's or the university community as well. So administrative accountability is key, and it should be a collective sort of effort to push for that. Whether that's through transparency, whether that's through increased engagement with students and understanding our needs and welfare. And then just the last one, which is actually very important, is to kind of push towards having more sort of professional development opportunities, economic opportunities. It could be something as small as having the SGPS set up a job board. Could be more than something like, holding a fair. At the end of the day, all these ideas have to be, collaborated on. It's not just a one-person show. And I'm hoping that the executive council that comes in, but also the hopeful increased engagement can help us achieve all these ideas and plans.
Okay, thank you. And very quickly, sir, because we are out of time, I wonder if you can help people learn more about you and also how to vote.
Yeah, so my description, the candidate description is on the SGPS website. There's also a link to email me directly, and I think that would be the best way to kind of get, some direct conversation in. As for voting, the ballot will be sent out by email to everyone who's registered as an SGPS member, so that should be pretty straightforward.
Thank you so much, folks. We have been chatting with Dawood Tullah, who is running for SGPS president. Best wishes on your campaign, sir.
Thank you.
And thank you to Dawood Tullah for taking time out of his campaign to join us here on CFRC. We now move over to statements from our VP community candidates, Ava Fiorino and Claire Dobbie, followed by an interview with Tanya Joseph, also running for SGPS VP Community. And welcome back. Coming up in this segment, we have a statement from Ava Fiorino, candidate for SGPS Vice President Community for the SGPS. My name is Ava Fiorino, and I'm excited to apply for the Vice President of Community position. I am confident that my skills and passion will enable me to make a meaningful contribution to both the SGPS team and Queen's community. As a dedicated master's student in urban and regional planning, my academic background has given me a strong foundation in community engagement strategies and ethical practices. I have continuously learned that planning strategies and decisions must reflect the needs, values, and priorities of the communities directly impacted, ensuring they are inclusive, equitable, and responsive to local concerns. These principles also align with the responsibilities of the Vice President of Community, who engages with community groups to advocate for key issues. I am currently volunteering with Live Green Toronto, where I am responsible for community outreach efforts and raising environmental awareness at events throughout the city. This role strongly emphasizes communication, allowing me to engage with communities and promote sustainability initiatives. In addition, as Vice President of Social Affairs for the Queen's Graduate Association of Planning Students in the Urban and Regional Planning Program, I advocate for the collective interests of students in the program, facilitate various activities, and coordinate initiatives that foster networking and strengthen connections within the program. The skills that I have gained in these positions, particularly in advocacy, event coordination, communication, and relationship building, will directly contribute to my success as Vice President of Community. As Vice President of Community, I promise to represent the diverse voices of the Queen's community, ensuring that all perspectives are heard and valued. I will work to foster an inclusive, collaborative environment by building strong connections both within the university and with our external partners. Together, we will build a supportive network that empowers every member of our community to thrive. That statement was by Ava Fiorino, posted on the SGPS website at sgps.ca. And coming up now in this next segment, we have a statement by Claire Dobbie, candidate for Vice President Community, who is also unable to join us here on CFRC. As a candidate for Vice President of Campaigns and Community Affairs, I would work to prioritize research and programming within the Kingston community while considering the diverse population of the Queen's graduate student body. My experience in undergrad as a fine arts student body president gave me the opportunity to connect my department with the Kingston and Queens community at large and advocate for our needs. I held this role at Queens during the 2022-23 academic year when the decision was made to suspend the program. I have experience with facing funding cuts and advocating for student concerns while finding solutions to bring together our community and connect us with a wider public. I have worked in the arts community in several ways, through Union Gallery as an artist, volunteer, and curator, at Agnes as an educator and docent, and for the City of Kingston in public arts. I have a strong understanding of how to connect people from diverse disciplines and backgrounds with each other through exercising programming as a tool for community building. I know the resources of the university well as an active community member from these roles. As the SGPS VP of Community Affairs, I would be excited to bring these skills into a wider scope. I would focus community engagement on bringing departments together and contributing to building accessible ways of maintaining wholesome student well-being. And that was a statement by Claire Dobbie, candidate for Vice President Community for the SGPS. That statement is available on the SGPS website at sgps.ca. And welcome back. I'm Dinah Jansen, and with me in the space right now is Tanya Joseph, running for SGPS Vice President Community. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for inviting me.
So, Tanya, tell us about yourself and the position you are running for with the SGPS.
So my name is Tanya Joseph. I'm a first-year PhD student in the Faculty of Education, and I'm running for the position of VP Community in SGPS. I have several previous experiences within leadership, and I have been a member of SGPS for the past 4 years, actually. I started off in my BEd program where again, we are professional studies, and I was the Education Student Society consecutive president and the liaison to SGPS for our faculty. In the current year, I've actually fulfilled 3 roles. One is the PhD education representative on SGPS. I am also the head of events for the Association of Indian Graduate Students at Queen's, and I am a co-head of IEDIAA on Vogue Charity Fashion Show. I'm running for this position because I feel like I do want to give back to the community, and there is a lot that I have felt has supported me throughout the last 4 years, and I want to help advocate for all students within different faculties and also continue the great work that has been done.
Wonderful. Thank you for sharing, Tanya. And now tell us a little bit more about why you are running for VP Community.
So I'm running for VP Community specifically because as a member of the BIPOC community, but also as an educator, I feel that I have so much to offer, and I believe that my belief in myself and my passion in what I do helps me see that I can be a great advocate for those around me, especially those who feel that their voices aren't being heard and those who aren't given the chance to speak up or engage within the community. Beyond just advocating, the aspect of having events and initiatives that help engage different students and different groups of individuals beyond just BIPOC. I do want to invite the 2S LGBTQ+ community. I do want to invite the international students who feel that they are so far away from home to have a family here. And I want to invite those who just feel that they cannot see themselves in what is being done to come out, including those with disabilities. So I do focus on the neurodiverse community and students with disabilities within my research. So I am very, very competent and aware of the struggles and barriers that these students may face.
Thank you very much for those insights. And now, can you tell us about the key pillars of your campaign platform?
For sure. So starting off with fostering an inclusive community, as I mentioned before, I do want to build a stronger sense of belonging for all SGPS members and organize events and initiatives that promote diversity, equity, and inclusion, and all the IEDIAA values beyond just using it as a buzzword. Beyond that, strengthening community connections. So I do want to make sure that everyone's voices are heard and represented, and beyond that, taking initiative. So hearing and listening is one thing, but putting into action is a whole different thing. And that step has to be taken. And lastly, supporting policy change. So I will work towards pushing for change in policy that directly impacts students. So advocating for better funding, academic support, and housing, because currently it is an issue. The funding that we as professional and graduate students receive isn't enough for the cost of living. And with the housing crisis and food insecurity in Kingston currently, it is a huge issue. So I do feel that that has to be acknowledged for the mental health and well-being of all professional and graduate students.
Thank you very much. And now finally, Tanya, how can people learn more about you and also vote?
So you can learn more about me actually just by looking me up. So you can find my student profile under the Faculty of Education and learn more about my experiences. Beyond that, you can email me. I would be glad to answer any questions about my platform at tanya.joseph@queensu.ca. And SGPS also has our platforms posted under the elections link. Feel free to connect with me on social media or LinkedIn. And again, I will be responsive. I believe that communication is key. So if you have any questions, feel free to contact me.
Wonderful. Folks, we have been chatting with Tanya Joseph, candidate for SGPS VP Community. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you very much.
And thank you to Tanya Joseph, VP Community Candidate, for taking the time to chat with us here on CFRC 101.9 FM. We're now going to turn it over to Abyaz Karim, chatting with VP Finance candidate Oishik Battacharya about his campaign.
Hi folks, this is Abyaz from CFRC. We will be talking to Oishik Battacharya. He is running for Vice President Finance and Service for SGPS, and we will be talking to him about it. Hi Oishik, how are you doing today?
Hello, Abyaz. I'm doing good, pretty well. How are you doing?
I'm doing fine, thank you for asking. So, tell us a bit about yourself and what position you are running for.
Okay, so my name is Oishik Battacharya, and right now, currently, I am pursuing my Masters of Law at the Queen's University, and I am also holding two positions apart from it as the SGPS member representing the Faculty of Law and also as the finance head at the Association of Indian Graduate Student at Queen's. And I am running for the position of Vice President Finance and Service in the SGPS election because I really want to contribute to for the betterment of the financial standards of the graduate and professional students at Queen's.
Sounds awesome. So, why are you running for office? Is there any particular reason? I mean, what inspired you to run for this position?
The particular reason I'm running for this position is I see that there is a lack of financial transparency for all the SGPS member. Thus, I believe the importance in the financial transparency and accessibility for the students. So I wish to manage the finances effectively and ensuring that students have access to high quality services, which is also important for fostering an inclusive and supportive environment for all the international graduate and professional students. Moreover, I would also like to support the SGPS committee by strengthening the existing services and also introducing some new initiatives for the need-based students.
That sounds awesome. So, Oishik, how can people learn more about you and vote for you?
People and students can know more about me through my social media and Instagram channel at b.jonty underscore and also by attending some of the events hosted by the SGPS committee. And moreover, if they are more eager to know about me, they can go to the Faculty of Law website where my name have been introduced as the representing member. So from there also they can know about me.
Great. Thank you, Oishik, for giving us your time today and best of luck for your campaign.
Thank you so much.
Folks, that was me, Abyaz from CFRC, talking to Oishik Bhattacharya. He is running for Vice President Finance and Services for SGPS.
And thank you to Oishik Battacharya for chatting with Abyaz for CFRC's Campus Beat coverage of SGPS elections. We now turn it back over to Abyaz with a statement read for the VP graduate candidate Ali Fathi, followed by interviews with Ikeolupawo Baruwa and Surabhi Velagala.
Hello, folks. I'm Abyaz from CFRC News. In this segment, I'll be reading a statement provided by Mr. Ali Fathi, who is running for Vice President graduate position in the upcoming SGPS elections. I am Ali, a proud international student and PhD candidate in the Civil Engineering Department. I'm passionate about student rights and making sure graduate students get what they deserve. I'm running for Vice President Graduate. The income and outcome in graduate students' lives are not satisfying the minimum requirements, and this needs to be resolved somehow. So I want to be their voice to reflect the issues and try to resolve them by making their quality of life better. I have three primary goals. I want to increase the quantity and quality of available food resources available on campus for graduate students to tackle any kind of food insecurities. I also want to improve the financial status of graduate students by fighting to increase funding and maintain unlimited supply of subsidized student housing for our students, since the rental cost for our housing has been increased at high rates these past couple of years. So these are my motivations to become a candidate for SGPS's VPA graduate. I have distributed my posters across campus so graduate students can know more about me and my goals. I also want to answer any questions if you have, and people can contact me at any time through my Queen's email. This brings us to the end of the statement. I'm Abyaz from CFRC News, and I was reading a statement provided by Mr. Ali Fathi, who is running for VP graduate position in the upcoming SGPS elections. Hello, folks. This is Abyaz from CFRC. We have Ikeolupawo Baruwa with us in studio today. He will be running for the Vice President graduate position of SGPS. Let's talk to Ike and know more about him. Hello, Ike. How are you doing today?
Yeah, I'm doing great, Abias. And you?
I'm doing fine. Thank you for asking. Can you
Great.
tell us a bit about yourself and the position you are running for?
Yeah, I am Ikeolupawo Baruwa. People usually call me Ike or Ike, so I'm good with any. And I'm running for, I'm a PhD candidate in the Faculty of Education at Queen's University, and I'm running for the position of VP graduate as SGPS. Prior to this time, I've served, a couple of positions. I've been a faculty representative. I've been an education steward. I've served as the occupational health and safety officer at PSCC 91. I'm presently sitting as the co-chair of the Joint Health and Safety Committee representing the students and all graduate workers. Yeah.
Awesome. So, any particular reason you are running for office?
Oh, there are a couple of reasons, obvious. I think the first one I'm going to start with is as an international student, international students don't want to take positions. They don't want to, because of some circumstances, probably cultural factors and different factors. But I've always had this pushbacks also, like, prior to me, going for this position, like, in my former position, I had the pushbacks. You can't do it. This is not your space and stuff like that. But, I went on and I was elected at the end of it. So I believe I can do the same this time. And I've also like through my position, the positions I've held, I've mentored a couple of people, like being a mentor to different kind of folks, and I've also been under the mentorship classes from leaders, yeah, like that. So I believe it would be a good opportunity for me to go in and represent the graduate student as a whole. And also one thing I would also add to that is that the issue of main campus, West campus, faculty of education students hardly participate in politics. And so it would be a good opportunity for me, being a voice for people, for, even like seeing me even in a position and I've also delivered in times past and I'm hoping that I would do the same and more, at SGPS.
Great. Sounds awesome. So, what are the key pillars of your platform?
Yeah, if elected, I have a couple of them. Yeah, so the first thing I'm looking at is which I think it may be common even among us is like funding, housing, and food security. I've been part of different organizations. I'm presently part of different groups, for example, like the community housing groups and a couple of them like that. And I've seen the struggles. I've also led, different groups. I've seen the struggles that people face. It's not like I listen to them, I'm also part of the system. So we are looking for ways to to make sure that the people have a better life. So one of the things is advocating for funding, housing, and food security. And another thing I would say is to strengthen the peer advisors program. That is peculiar to my position. Also in the Faculty of Education, I've worked with a couple of folks, and I'm hoping that I'll be able to use my experience in that field in that area, to extend and to do possible, thing in the office, like as a VP graduate. I'm
Right.
also hoping to expand access to academic and professional resources. I've done this a couple of times. Presently, I founded, I don't want to use the word high, but I've been so resourceful, like to the founding of the Queen's Journal of Education. When I came on board in 2022, I realized that the Faculty of Education does not have a peer access, a peer-reviewed open access journal. And it was because I served as an associate editor. I served as a managing editor for the magazine. It was called Research in a Nutshell. So, but I felt like we needed, an open access journal. And through my support and, working with people, we were able to found that and we're open to put a first call for papers, sometimes this January or February. So that's one of the achievements, like giving more access and resources to graduates. And I believe I can also do more. And also like improving the mental health and support of graduate students by probably removing barriers for them to access resources and for them to, passing through the professional system and the professional student program. The graduate program is taxing already, and we have to take care of our mental health. So removing some barriers and some criteria can also work, and also introducing them to like a couple of resources. And lastly, I would say foster a sense of belonging for all. As an international student, as a Black person, I've struggled, and I'm really in the best position for me to create this avenue for people to see that even someone like me can go in there, can do this, and foster this kind of sense of belonging, because I know what it takes to to bring about a sense of belonging, not just like the performative diversity inclusion that we talk about, but a sense of belonging where people feel belonged in the space.
Awesome. Okay, so how can people learn more about you and vote?
Yeah, I have my social media. I'm on Instagram. My handle on Instagram is IKBounce, IKBOUNCE. And on X, yeah, I was about saying Twitter. So it's IKBounce Hub, like IKBOUNCE, IKBounce Hub. My handles on Facebook and LinkedIn is the same, is Ikeolupawo Baruwa. Ikeolupawo B Baruwa. Ikeolupawo B Baruwa. Yeah. So I can be reached out on any of those. And if anyone desires to check if anybody wants to check my background, like my research expertise, you can just put my name on Google. I'm very sure it would, come up. I've done a couple of works, and I'm still doing a couple of works. So I believe that people can read a lot about me from these social media platforms.
Right. Okay, EK, it was lovely to have you in studio with us. Best of luck for your campaign.
Thank you very much, Abyaz.
Folks, that was me, Abyaz, from CFRC News, talking to EK Baruwa, running for Vice President Graduate of SGPS. Hi folks, this is Abyaz from CFRC. We have Surabhi Velagala with us in studio today. She is running for VP Graduate for SGPS, and we will be talking to Surabhi about it. Hi Surabhi, how are you doing today?
Pretty good. How about yourself?
I'm good, thank you for asking. So Surabhi, tell us about yourself and what position you are running for.
So currently I'm in my first year of the Master's in Epidemiology program here, where I serve as the 2026 cohort student representative for my program and an events planning executive member for the Student Association and the Joy Committee. Currently for SGPS, the current election, I'm running for the VP graduate position.
Wow. So why are you running for office? I mean, what inspired you to run for this position?
The reason that I'm running is because I really want to ensure a better quality of life for our students through many means and various areas of concern, and make sure that they are adequately supported and informed about the reliable resources that we have. And I also want to make sure that we take collective action towards addressing the needs of our graduate student body. And by collective, I mean taking measures which address these goals by not only being adaptable to modify them, while taking the students' body's feedback into consideration. And the main reason is that I've seen and experienced firsthand the challenges that are faced by graduate students, especially through my faculty, which arise, for example, from housing and food insecurity and inadequate financial stability, all while they're still balancing their academic and professional successes and responsibilities. And as graduate students, our academic and professional successes, I believe, should not have to come at the cost of our health or be hindered by any of these concerns like food insecurity and housing. So that's one of the reasons that I'm running for office.
Amazing. So if I may ask, what are the key pillars of your platform?
The key pillars of my platform are, I plan to address 4 things. So I plan to approach the 4 key pillars of my campaign while addressing the need for better funding and ensuring fair working conditions. And I know that our needs are dynamic and they depend on the situations that we may need to prioritize differently. So I want to do this by being open to communication and feedback from within our student body, but also staff and organizations which are heavily involved with our graduate students. So the first pillar that I want to address is food insecurity and housing. And I aim to advocate for affordable food resources and housing initiatives, and increase the access to reliable food programs by collaborating and maintaining good, reputable relationships with organizations within and also outside campus. And I know that we have a lot of good programs in place, but I feel that we can still improve them through advocacy, learning from our environment, and also getting feedback and ideas from students. And secondly, my second pillar is, as someone who works in mental health research, I believe that it's crucial to have adequate resources and support just to maintain good mental and overall health. So for a while, I've read that students are not able to make time for themselves due to the academic pressures and professional pressures that they face. And they apparently don't really know about the resources that we provide. So I really want to make an effort to make students more aware of such resources and workshops and increase their access to them. The third pillar that I want to address is to make efforts towards professional development and academic success, so that graduate students can make an efficient transition into the work field or higher studies easier after completing graduate studies. So I aim to do this by enhancing professional development opportunities in various ways, such as like increasing and promoting awareness about scholarships and awards, both internal and external, but also increasing exposure to mentorship and networking opportunities. So through this, I hope that I can make graduate students feel supported and empowered towards their next steps.
Right.
And lastly, I think it's very important to build and maintain strong and meaningful connections with people, and build a good community. And as a first-generation immigrant who has the privilege of studying in this diverse and inclusive country, I am committed to promoting and celebrating the diversity of all graduate students, no matter the background, no matter the abilities. And by supporting our existing organizations, such as the QUSC and like other student organizations that we have on campus, while also collaborating with off-campus initiatives, I feel that we can strengthen bonds and we can be a little more culturally sensitive to our peers, allowing us to see things from different lenses.
Awesome. So that brings me to my last question. How can people learn more about you and vote?
LinkedIn, which just uses my name, Surabhi Velagala, and my Instagram, SVELA 2001, are my main social media and campaigning platforms. So you can read all about my experiences and my campaign a lot more in depth on those platforms. But I also really enjoy communicating with people. So anyone can reach me by email, which can be found on the elections candidate information website on SGPS. Or if you just see me on campus, don't be afraid to say hi and chat. I'm more than happy to answer any kind of questions throughout my campaign. If my campaign resonates with you, to show your support by voting for me during the voting period that goes from January 29th to the 30th, where all SGPS members will receive ballots through Simply Voting. Every vote counts.
That's amazing. Thank you, Surabhi. Best of luck for your campaign. So, folks, this was me, Abyaz from CFRC, in conversation with Surabhi Velagala, who is running for VP graduate for SGPS.
And thank you to Surabhi Velagala and Ikeolupawo Baruwa for joining Abyaz in the studio to chat about their campaigns, and to Ali Fathi for submitting his statement to us. Coming up now, we have a statement from Amir Shetaia running for VP Professional, followed by Jaya Kumar, who is chatting with VP Professional candidates Destine Lee and Megan Roth, and we'll end with Abyaz's interview with Rit Nanda, also running for VP Professional. Thanks for joining us. And welcome back. Coming up in this segment, we have a statement from Amir Shetaia, candidate for Vice President Professional. Amir Shetaia is a master's candidate in electrical and computer engineering at Queen's University, where he serves as a teaching assistant and research assistant in the Kaufman Lab for Safety Critical Software Engineering, under the supervision of Dr. Sean Kaufman. With a proven track record of leadership and professional excellence, Amir is passionate about advancing the career development opportunities available to graduate students. Amir brings extensive experience in embedded systems, robotics, AI, and cloud computing, developed through his academic and professional journey. He has held leadership roles including empowering teams to innovate and excel, and has mentored aspiring engineers in technical and professional skills. His professional background includes internships at global organizations such as Siemens Digital Industries Software, Huawei, and Valeo, where he developed expertise in cutting-edge technologies like AutoSAR, RTOS, embedded Linux, and cloud computing. Amir also led the team to win first place at the Hue ICT Competition Global Final, showcasing his ability to lead and deliver exceptional results. If elected Vice President Professional, Amir will advocate for practical workshops, career panels, and networking events tailored to graduate students' professional development needs, strengthen connections between graduate students and industry professionals, creating more pathways to mentorships, internships, and career opportunities, provide accessible resources to help students bridge the gap between academia and industry, ensuring they are well prepared for their professional futures, and promote inclusivity and ensure that all voices are represented in building a thriving professional community at Queen's University. Amir Shetaia is dedicated to supporting his peers' professional aspirations and fostering an environment where every graduate student has the tools and opportunities to succeed. Thank you to the SGPS for providing this statement on behalf of Amir Shetaia.
Okay, this interview will be with SGPS VP candidate Destine Lee. So question number 1, tell us about yourself and what position you're running for.
Hi, thank you for having me. I would say that I'm running for VP Professional, and I'm a very outgoing and friendly person that loves to work with other people, and I find that I can actually do more things for others than I can for myself.
Okay, great, thank you. And tell us about why you're running for office.
I love to be involved in the student body committee. As my past experience in business school, I was also the VP academic. And I think it's a great way to be connected to other students and help in a sense that furthers the academic experience.
Great, thank you. And tell us what the key pillars of your platform are.
My 3 pillars are advocacy, legacy efficiency, as well as furthering connection.
Great, thank you. And how can people learn more about you and also cast their vote?
Well, to cast votes, you can go to the SGPS website. There's also our bios that are listed. And then to reach out to me personally, you can email me at destine.l@queensu.ca. And that's spelled DESTINE.L@queensu.ca. And I hope to hear back from you.
Okay, great, thank you. This interview will be with Megan Roth, SGPS VP candidate. Okay, so question 1. Tell us about yourself and what position you're running for.
Yeah, thanks, Jaya, for having me. So my name is Megan, and I'm running for VP Professional. So a little bit about me. From an education standpoint, I did a physiology undergrad at Western. Then I worked in pediatric clinical research for a few years. Then I went back to school for accelerated nursing at U of T. And then I worked as a nurse at Sick Kids in Multi-Organ Transplant, and then at BC Children's in the Pediatric Intensive Care Unit. Before I transitioned to medical school, which I am in now, I'm a second-year med student, and I work part-time as a nurse at Millhaven Correctional Facility. So I'm enjoying medical school, and on my time off, I like to spend as much time outdoors as possible. I recently moved from Vancouver, so I'm trying to kind of replicate that lifestyle here. Yeah, and one of the goals I'm working towards is a triathlon in the summer. So that's a little bit about me.
Great, thank you. And tell us about why you're running for office.
Yes, so so I've worked professionally as a nurse for the last 4.5 years, and then professionally as a clinical research assistant before that. So I think I'm quite aware of the professional responsibilities transitioning from being a learner to working as a professional in real life. And I can definitely appreciate the challenges. So I want to take that perspective to, support my peers as much as possible. So I'm definitely familiar with the challenges in a medical aspect, but I've also worked closely with various people involved in law, lawyers, plaintiffs, defendants in a medical legal role that I've held for about 9 years. So I can understand the challenges of law as well. But specifically at Queen's, there's quite a limited opportunity for collaboration, especially within and between the professional programs and their connection with the graduate programs. For example, there's no collaboration between like nurse practitioner, epidemiology, health promotion, graduate programs, and medicine that exist right now at Queen's. So I really think that's an opportunity to kind of improve things. I'd also like to improve collaborative relationships within professionals and kind of professional students and broaden the definition of professional, because right now Queen's definition of professional program is only law, medicine, and education. It doesn't include other health professionals like nurses or honestly, almost every single graduate program you can argue is a professional program. So I think a more holistic approach would be better in order to collaborate and kind of facilitate shared interests and improve learning opportunities, education opportunities, and networking, as well as mentorship.
Great, thank you. And what are the key pillars of your platform?
So I would say collaboration, inclusiveness, increasing networking and relationship building, like a cross-program mentorship program, bringing people together with shared interests, increasing opportunities for other programs, and kind of leveling the playing field, and increasing the amount of diverse perspectives in student programming.
Great, thank you. And finally, how can people learn more about you and vote?
Absolutely. So the SGPS debate is this Wednesday. So you can check out all of the candidates talking about their platforms and debating issues. My platform is also on the SGPS website, along with the other candidates. And I'll also be posting on Facebook and other social media platforms to kind of talk about why I think I'm a good candidate for the role.
Hello folks, this is Abyaz from CFRC. We have Rit Nanda with us in studio today. He is running for Vice President Professional for SGPS, and we will be talking to Rit about it. Hello Rit, how are you doing today?
I'm very good, thank you for having me.
Thank you, it was a pleasure to have you in the studio. So, tell us a bit about yourself and what position you are running for.
So I'm Rit Nanda, and I'm running for the Vice President Professional position in SGPS. I'm a third-year PhD student in Environmental Studies, which is an interdisciplinary department, including most professional participants. And I'm also a mature student, which means that I come into this with extensive industry experience in procurement and contract and legal matters. I'm also the convener of Queen's Network of Environmental Studies and a student board member of Switch. So I wear many hats, and I'm hoping that all of them can help me succeed in this position with everybody's support.
Awesome. So, why are you running for office? I mean, what inspired you for this position?
Right, so that is a great question. If you look at the main remit of the vice president professional, one of the things that we have to do is to do, outreach for professional students who may be isolated from the rest of the SGPS. And I found that there is a lack of synergy. Again, coming from the environmental studies department, One would say it is a graduate department, but we are an interdisciplinary department which is interacting with everybody and we see it all the time. So, for example, if you're looking at a student law club, to give you specific examples, they have the environmental law club and they might benefit from interacting with environmental studies. The same for international law. In policy studies, for example, we have Jamshed Merchant, who is a lecturer, who was the former Canadian Consul General in the US Upper Midwest. Somebody in international law would definitely benefit talking to them. If we go into other professional subjects like, say, medical, they have in graduate studies, once the undergraduates, they decide if they want to do a graduate study, they can choose something like aging and health, but I don't think they have had the chance to talk to the aging and health lab in geography, which is called the Aging Projects Lab, run by Dr. Mark Rosenberg. Similarly, Dr. Lewis Wynn in Biomedical and Molecular Sciences program in the environmental studies. So there is a lot of, lack of synergy that I feel that is there, and that is why I threw my hat in the ring. And the other reason, of course, is to, advocate for professional students' needs and interests. And I think we have been too defensive in doing so. And we need to go on offense, especially this year when probably a strike action is coming. We need to be more offensive and play on the front foot and advocate for these things and have our own kind of community and our solidarity to take it forward instead of always waiting for the university to react.
Right. That sounds wonderful. So, Rit, what are the key pillars of your platform?
Well, there are four of them. So, as I mentioned, education is kind of where I categorize the whole thing about synergy. As I said, across graduate student bodies and professional bodies, and amongst them, there are synergies to be had, which makes your educational outcomes better. I highlighted some in my previous answer. The second pillar is expansion. So one particular example I want to take is like the med law games that we have between the medical and the law faculty. I want to include Con Ed in that too, and probably expand it to business, which is technically not a professional student body right now, but should be. By doing so, we started this about 10 years ago, right? Raising money for the Alzheimer's Society and other charities. But maybe we can use it and open up to the wider Kingston community to raise money for the food bank, for students who might come from low-income backgrounds or international backgrounds, who are already struggling but might struggle more with any strike action that comes in. So expansion. Support career fairs. We have an engineering career fair across campus, but for every other professional discipline, we have career connections through the departments. But like I said, there are other synergies and should be opened up to the campus so that people can benefit from it. Something personally, as I said, I'm a procurement and contracts specialist with experience in that. I have contacts there. Maybe law students can benefit talking to my contacts there, as an example. So, we need to have a wider support system. And finally, as I said, representation, bringing the student body closer. The graduate student body is quite close, but the professional student bodies still stay within their faculties. I hope they come together, interact more with PSAC for the professional students, which I think is dominated by graduate students to understand their needs. And I think that is the fourth pillar. So education, expansion, support, and representation. And all of this, of course, in line with what I listen to from the professional students and what they tell me.
That's awesome. Big plans. So, getting to the
so.
very last part of our interview, how can people learn more about you and vote?
For every candidate, including me, if you go to sgps.ca/elections, you will see all the candidates there. I am right at the very end, and I hope you will see and learn more about me. There will be a Queen's Journal page that will be coming up soon. Please feel free to peruse it. It should be out by Monday. And please feel free to visit my LinkedIn profile and search for Rit Nanda, as is Ritnanda. And most importantly, feel free to reach out to me. You can find it on your email addresses, search for me, and reach out to me. I'm always happy to answer.
Thank you. So that was wonderful talking to you, Rit. Best of luck for your campaign. It was lovely to have you.
Thank you again for having me and appreciate all the support.
You are most welcome. Folks, that was me, Abyaz from CFRC, talking to Rit Nanda, who is running for SGPS Vice President Professional.
And that's a wrap for our conversations with and statement readings for SGPS Executive Candidates. And a special thank you to Abyaz Karim, our new campus news reporter, and our new volunteer, Jaya Kumar, for their assistance for this episode. We'll be back shortly with our coverage of the SGPS All Candidates debate that took place virtually on January 22nd in just a few moments. Thank you for joining us right here on CFRC 101.9 FM's Campus Beat and our coverage of the AMS and SGPS elections and referenda taking place at Queen's University on January 29th and 30th. I'm Dinah Jansen.